All right. So while you guys are on the floor getting cozy, again, make sure that you have your pillows and your blanket nearby, just so that if you need anything, you don't have to come right out of your soma to be reaching for things. Be nice if they're close and handy. And we're going to start with bringing awareness here. You don't? Okay. Thanks, Jessica. All right. So we're starting with bringing awareness to our breath. So breathing in through your nose, unless you have a really bad cold and you have to breathe through your mouth. But if you can, breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your nose or your mouth, whichever feels more comfortable for you. And as you're bringing awareness to this breath, just take note of how easeful your breath feels. What about the speed of your breath? Are you breathing quickly? Are you able to slow down your breathing? Are you breathing deeply? And can you feel your body moving with your breath? Can you feel your chest and your belly rise as you inhale? Can you feel them floating back down to the floor as you exhale? Are you noticing or feeling any pain or tension with your breath? You will continue to breathe comfortably throughout our lesson this morning. And you'll hear me cueing some of your breath, but remember, it's most important to breathe comfortably, not to hold your breath at any time. So if I've cued you for a breath and you need to take another one, please do. So still breathing comfortably, I'd like you to bring your awareness now to your head and your neck. Notice how your head feels on the floor this morning. Does it feel heavy or light? Are you noticing any pain or tension? What are you noticing and feeling in your neck? Are you feeling any pain or tension? Or do you feel relaxed? Moving down now to your chest and your shoulders. As you take this next breath, take note of what you're feeling in the front and the back of your upper torso, in your chest and in your shoulders, in your upper back. How do your shoulder blades feel on the floor this morning? Do they feel even? Does one side feel heavier than the other? Are you noticing or feeling any pain or tension? Notice how you have your arms and your hands placed. Are your arms long beside you? Are your hands resting on your belly? Are your hands turned up or down? Are you noticing any pain or tension? Moving next into your mid-torso. As you take your next breath, again, can you feel your belly rise with your breath? Can you feel your back lifting gently off of the floor? Are you feeling or noticing any pain or tension? Moving down to your low back, your low belly and your pelvis. As you take this next breath, what are you noticing and feeling here? Are you able to lay with your legs long, or are you bending your knees or putting a pillow under your knees because of tension that you might be feeling in your low back? What are you noticing from side to side of your pelvis? Does one side feel heavier or lighter? Do you feel a sense of evenness from side to side? Are you noticing or feeling any pain or tension? Moving down through your pelvis and into your legs. Can you tell, does one leg feel maybe more internally or externally rotated than the other, or do they feel the same? Moving all the way down through your knees, ankles, and feet. Taking note of any pain or tension that you're feeling, any differences or discomfort. We'll be starting this morning with some tilt and flattens. So when you're ready, go ahead and bend your knees, bring your feet flat on the floor. We're going to start this morning with our tilt, and we're going to add in our rolling arms. So allow your arms to lay long beside you. And when you're ready, we'll be starting on an inhale. So inhale and tilt. Your tailbone gently presses down as your belly button rises to the ceiling. Roll your arms open so that your palms are facing up. Bring your awareness now to the small arch you've created in your back. As you exhale now, slowly with control, release in your pelvis and in your back as you slowly and softly melt back to neutral. When you've returned to neutral, rest. And we'll repeat that same one again when you're ready. But this time I want you to think about lifting your belly button before you press the tailbone down. So when you're ready, inhale and tilt, belly button rises, allowing your tailbone to roll down gently to the floor. Your arms roll open so your palms are facing up. Bring your awareness to that small arch in your back now as you exhale, slowly with control. Release as you slowly melt back to neutral. When you've returned to neutral, rest. We're going to repeat that one again, only this time we're going to flow right through neutral at the end of it, going into our flatten. So again, when you're ready, inhale and tilt, your belly button will rise as your pelvis rolls and your tailbone gently presses to the floor. Your arms roll open so your palms are facing up. Bring your awareness to the arch of your back. And now as you exhale, slowly with control, release the arch in your back, slowly allowing your arms to begin to roll inwards towards your body. And when you've finished releasing in your back and in your pelvis, we'll move right through neutral, doing another inhale here if you need to. And now as you exhale, flatten your back down to the floor, bringing your ribs and pubic bone towards each other. Roll the arms inwards towards your body. Gently squeeze your shoulders towards each other in front of you. Bring your awareness now to the contraction in your belly and in your chest. As you inhale, slowly release. Slow, smooth, controlled release as you melt back to neutral. And when you've returned to neutral, rest. Once you've had a moment of rest, we're going to repeat that one again. When you're ready, inhale and tilt, belly button rises as your tailbone rolls down towards the floor, arms roll open, palms are facing up. Bring your awareness to that small arch of your low back. As you exhale, now slowly release. Slowly allowing your back to float back down to neutral. Your arms slowly begin to roll inwards. And moving right through neutral, doing another inhale here if you need to. And as you exhale now, flatten your back down to the floor by tightening your abdominal muscles. Roll your arms inwards towards your body and gently squeeze your shoulders towards each other in front of you. Bring your awareness now to the contraction in your chest and in your belly. As you continue to breathe comfortably, slowly release as slow and smooth as you can. And when you've finished releasing and you're back to neutral, rest. Once you've had a moment of rest, I'd like you to continue at your own pace now. I'd like you to do 2 full flows of tilt and flatten, moving through both of them and taking your rest at the end of those 2 full flows. Remember to move slowly, to stay in your comfort zone. And remember to pay attention for any of that SMA that you might be feeling. And work to smooth it out. When you finish the one that you're on, make sure to take a moment of rest in neutral. Next, we're going to move into an elbow to opposite knee, and we're going to add in the tilt in front. So again, combining our green and red exercises together. So let's bring our right hand up behind our head, leaving the left arm long beside you. And when you're ready, inhale and tilt, belly button rises, tailbone presses down, and gently press that right shoulder blade to the floor, thinking of drawing it across the floor towards the back of your left hip. Bring your awareness now to the arch of your back as you exhale slowly with control. Melt back to neutral as you slowly allow the shoulder blade and your hip to melt away from each other. When you've finished releasing in your back, doing another inhale here if you need to. And as you exhale now, flatten your back down to the floor as you tighten your abdominals. Gently lift your head and chest. Bring your right elbow and your left knee towards each other. Remember that you can use your opposite hand and arm to support your leg if you need to. Bring your awareness to the contraction in the front of your body now. As you inhale, slowly allow your elbow and knee to melt away from each other as you return to neutral. As slow and smooth as you can. When you return to neutral, take a moment of rest. And we'll repeat that one again when you're ready. Inhale and tilt, belly button rises, tailbone gently presses down, shoulder blade pressing to the floor, drawing it towards the back of the opposite hip. Bringing your awareness now into your back as you exhale and slowly with control release. as you smoothly return to neutral. And moving through neutral, doing another inhale here if you need to. As you exhale, now flatten your back down to the floor. Gently lift your head and chest. Bring that elbow and knee towards each other. Bring your awareness now to the front of your body. As you inhale, slowly release, allowing the elbow and knee to melt away as you release in your abdominals. Slowly melting back to neutral. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest, then slowly bring your right hand out from behind your head. Slowly lengthen your legs. And while we observe a moment of silence for Remembrance Day, you're going to also take this time to sense any differences in your body from side to side. Our moment of silence will begin now. Before we continue, I would just also like to take this moment for us to just remember and thank all of those who gave their lives, protecting us and others. All right, moving to our opposite side now. So go ahead and bend your knees again, bringing now your left hand up behind your head. And we'll repeat the same exercise twice on the opposite side. So when you're ready, inhale and tilt, your belly button rises, tailbone presses gently, and pressing now the left shoulder blade to the floor, thinking of drawing it across towards the back of your right hip. Bring your awareness to the arch of your back, and as you exhale, slowly with control, release in your back as you allow your hip and shoulder to melt away from each other. When you finish releasing in your back, doing another inhale here if you need to. As you exhale now, flatten your back down to the floor. Bring your left elbow and your right knee towards each other. Bringing your awareness now to the front of your body. Still breathing comfortably. Allow your head and foot to slowly return to the floor as you smoothly release in your abdominals. Slowly, with control, melting back to neutral. When you've returned to neutral, rest. And let's repeat that one more time. When you're ready, inhale and tilt. Your belly button rises, tailbone gently presses down, pressing that left shoulder blade, drawing it towards the back of your right hip. And with awareness in your back, as you exhale, slowly, with control, release the arch of your back. Slowly melting back to neutral. When you've finished releasing in your back, you'll move right through neutral, doing another inhale here if you need to. And as you continue to exhale, flatten your back down to the floor, tightening the abdominals, bringing your left elbow and right knee towards each other. Bringing your awareness now to the front of your body as you take your next inhale. Slowly release as you slowly lower your head and foot, working for smooth, controlled release. When your head is resting, slowly opening your elbow. And when you've returned to neutral, rest. Once you've had a moment of rest, we're going to move next into another green exercise. We're going to be doing look over the shoulder. So I'd like you to slowly roll over onto your belly. We're going to start with the right side. So once you've rolled over to your belly, bring your right hand up. Allow your left arm to be long beside you. And rest your left cheek on the back of your right hand. So you're looking towards the right elbow. We're going to break this movement into pieces this morning. We're going to start by lifting just the elbow. So you're going to allow your head and hand to stay on the floor. So when you're ready, go ahead and lift just the right elbow. Remember to stay in comfort. Only lift that elbow as high as you can comfortably. And notice what's happening in your back as you lift that elbow up. Bring your awareness to your back now as you slowly release and allow the elbow to smoothly return down to the floor. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest and then we'll repeat that again. When you're ready, lifting just the elbow upwards towards the ceiling, and again, bringing your awareness into your back, and then slowly releasing, allowing your elbow to melt back down to the floor. And again, once you've had a moment of rest, this time, leave your elbow and your hand on the floor. I'd like you now to lift just your head as you gently look over that right shoulder. Again, remember to stay in comfort, lifting your head and chest, gently looking over the right shoulder. Awareness into your back now as you slowly release, lowering your head and your chest back down as slow and smooth as you can. Make sure to take a moment of rest in neutral. And now I'd like to move down to the leg. So lifting now your left leg just an inch or two off of the floor. Remembering again to stay in comfort, lifting the left leg. And again, bringing your awareness to the back of your body now as you slowly release and lower the left leg back down to the floor. Moving back up to the upper body now, allowing your legs to stay quiet. This time, I'd like you to lift the head, the chest, and the elbow. So remember that you're going to think about as if your cheek is glued to the back of your hand now. So when you're ready, inhale and lift your head, chest, elbow, and hand, gently turning that right elbow towards the ceiling. Notice that your left shoulder is probably pressing to the floor. And then slowly releasing with awareness in your back as you slowly return to neutral. We'll repeat this, only this time we're going to add that left leg lift in. So when you're ready, inhale and lift your head, chest, elbow, and lengthening and lifting the left leg. Bring your awareness again into the back of your body as you continue to breathe comfortably, slow, smooth release in your back as you lower your leg, your head, and your chest. As slow and smooth as you can. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest. And we're going to do one more of this full movement on this side. When you're ready, inhale and lift, head, chest, elbow, lengthening and lifting the left leg, turning that elbow slightly. And again, with awareness in the back of your body, slowly release as you lower everything back down. When you've returned to neutral, make sure to take a moment of rest. And then slowly we'll be turning to the opposite side. So bringing the right hand down beside you, bringing the left arm up and turning your head now to the left. So your right cheek is resting on the back of your left hand. We'll repeat this the same as we did on the opposite side. So starting with just the elbow again. When you're ready, your head and hand will stay on the floor, lifting now just the left elbow upwards towards the ceiling. Again, remember to stay in comfort. The elbow does not need to lift high, but as you lift it, notice what is happening and contracting in your back. Keeping your awareness there, slowly release as you lower the elbow back down to the floor. Take a moment of rest in neutral. And then we'll repeat that same one again, lifting just the elbow upwards towards the ceiling. And then slowly releasing from your back as you slowly lower your elbow back down. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest. And next, we'll be leaving the elbow on the floor as we gently lift the head and chest. So your hand and elbow will stay down. Go ahead and lift now just your head and your chest as you gently look over your left shoulder. Again, notice what's happening in your back and then slowly release as you lower your head and chest back down. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest. Moving now to your right leg. When you're ready, lengthen and lift just the right leg, just a couple of inches, lifting it gently off the floor. Notice what happens in the pelvis. As you lift that right leg, you probably press the left side down a little bit to the floor to help you. Slowly with control, release as you lower the right leg back down. Slow and smooth. Again, taking a moment of rest in neutral. Moving back to the upper body now, your legs will stay quiet, this time lifting the head, the chest, and the elbow, imagining that your cheek and your hand are glued together. When you're ready, inhale and lift your head, chest, and elbow, turning that left elbow slightly towards the ceiling. And with awareness in your back, slowly release as you lower your head and chest back down. When you're back to neutral, rest. We're going to add that opposite leg in now, putting these movements together. When you're ready, inhale and lift your head, chest, and elbow, lengthening and lifting your right leg, turning that left elbow slightly to the ceiling. And with awareness in your back, release as you slowly lower everything back to the floor. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest. And we'll repeat that one more time. Inhale and lift, head, chest, and elbow, lengthening and lifting your right leg. Thinking of that back shoulder blade and opposite hip gently squeezing towards each other. And as you exhale, release, allowing them to melt away from each other as you slowly return to neutral. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest. And once you've had that moment of rest, you'll bring your right hand up, turning your head straight so that your forehead is resting on the back of both of your hands. And we're going to do a couple peekaboo exercises here. So leaving now your elbows and hands on the floor, I'd like you to gently lift your head and chest. Allow your eyes to follow if that feels comfortable for you. And now bring your awareness into your back and the back of your neck as you slowly, with control, release, lowering your head, your eyes, and your chest back down as slow and smooth as you can. When you return to neutral, rest. We're going to repeat that same exercise, but this time, I invite you all to do it much, much smaller, like 25% the effort into the lift as you did on the last one. So it'll be not quite a micro movement, but very, very small. When you're ready, inhale and lift, head, chest, and eyes, just a tiny, tiny little bit. And again, bring your awareness into your back and into the back of your neck as you slowly, even slower than last time, release, slowly returning to neutral. Once you've returned to neutral, rest. Once you've had a moment of rest, I'd like you to slowly roll to your side as we move into an armpit to hip exercise. We'll roll onto the left side so that your right side is facing up to the ceiling. Once you've turned onto your side, you'll bend your knees so that your knees come straight out from your hips, your feet straight down from your knees. And imagine that you are laying with your back against a wall so that your hips and your shoulders are nice and flat and even. Then go ahead and bring that top arm up over your head to support your head. And when you're ready, go ahead and lift your head, your chest, your elbow, rotating your top thigh as you lift your top foot to your knees stay together, gently squeezing your hip and armpit towards each other. Bring your awareness now into your side as you slowly release, allowing your hip and your armpit to melt away from each other. Slowly softening in your side as you slowly melt back to neutral. Once you've had a moment of rest, we'll repeat that one again. Lifting your head, chest, and elbow, rotate your top thigh as you lift your top foot, gently squeezing your hip and your armpit towards each other. Bring your awareness now into this contracted side as you slowly, with control, release, working for smooth, slow, controlled release. And remember, if you feel any bumpy, glitchy spots, anything uncontrolled, just to take a moment to pause, recontract, work to smooth that bump out. Make sure to take a moment of rest in neutral, and at your own pace, I'd like you to repeat that one more time on that same side. Notice the length that you're beginning to create in your side as you soften and release in your waist. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest. And then nice and slow, I'd like you to roll onto your back and just take a moment to sense from side to side of your body. Can you feel a difference from your left waist to your right waist? If you're comfortable to lay with your legs long, give it a try. Do you notice a softening or lengthening in that right side? Does your right leg maybe actually feel longer than the left? Once you've had a moment to sense, you'll slowly roll on to your right side so that your left is facing up to the ceiling. And again, getting into that position with your knees straight out from your hips, your feet straight down from your knees. And again, imagining that your back is up against a wall, so it's nice and flat. Your shoulder blades and your tailbone would be flat against the wall. And when you're ready, go ahead and lift your head, chest, and elbow, rotating your top thigh as you lift that top foot, gently squeezing your hip and armpit towards each other. Bring your awareness into that side as you slowly release now, melting, allowing your ribs and your hip to melt away from each other as you soften in your side. Take a moment to rest in neutral. We'll repeat that one again. When you're ready, go ahead and lift your head, chest, and elbow, lifting your top foot as you gently squeeze the hip and armpit towards each other. Bringing your awareness into your top side, slowly begin to release, allowing your hip and armpit to melt away from each other. And notice also that you've created a contraction in the side of your neck, that you are slowly also releasing as your head lowers down back to resting on your bottom arm. And you're back to neutral. Rest. At your own pace, I'd like you to repeat that one more time. Again, remember to pay attention to what you're feeling, what is happening. If you feel any bumpy, glitchy moments in this release, make sure to pause, recontract, and then slowly begin to release again. When you've returned to neutral, rest. And once you've had a moment of rest, you'll slowly roll over onto your back. We're going to move next into some of the orange exercises. We're going to move into steeple arms and cross knee tilt. So hopefully you have those pillows nice and close. I'd like you to stack them on top of each other and place them both on your right side. And I'd like you to cross your right leg over the left. So make sure your pillows are down by your knees so that as you lower your knees to the right, they have somewhere to come to rest. Then we're going to bring our palms together and move into our steeple arms. So firmly pressing your palms together and moving your arms straight up to the ceiling into that steeple arm position. And when you're ready, begin to allow your knees to drift to the right, at the same time allowing your steeple arms to drift to the left. Allow your head to roll and follow. Typically, most people will find it most comfortable for the head to follow the arms to the left. Allow your torso to roll and twist. When you've gone as far as you can comfortably, Slowly, with control, returning to center or to neutral. Slow and smooth. You've returned to center. Pause for just a moment of rest, and we'll repeat that one again. When you're ready, allow the knees to begin to drift to the right as your pelvis rolls to the right. Your upper torso will begin to rotate and roll to the left as your steeple arms drift left. Staying in your comfort zone. And then slow and smooth, coming back to center. When you've returned to center, take a brief moment of rest, and we'll repeat that one more time. Remember to try to keep your palms firmly pressed, working to keep the elbows straight. Begin to drift the knees to the right, the steeple arms drifting to the left. As your upper torso turns to the left, the lower torso is turning to the right. And slow and smooth, returning to center. You've returned to center. You'll slowly lower your arms, slowly uncross your legs, and just take a brief moment of rest here in neutral. Taking a moment to sense any changes that you're feeling in your body. And then slowly moving your pillows to the opposite side now. So both pillows coming to the left side. And again, bringing your palms together, bringing your arms up into that steeple arm position. And crossing now the left leg over the right. And now begin to allow your knees to drift to the left as your steeple arms and head begin to drift to the right. Your upper torso is turning to the right as your lower torso is turning left. Remember to stay in comfort. When you've gone as far as you can comfortably, you'll slowly return to center. Notice the full spiral twist of your body, as if two giant hands were gently twisting the lower part of your body one way and the upper part of your body the opposite way, like squeezing the water out of a wash rag. Take a moment of rest in center and repeat again as you lower your knees to the left, slowly drifting your arms and head to the right, staying in comfort. Moving slowly with awareness, and then slowly with awareness coming back to center. When you've returned to center, taking one more brief moment of rest as we repeat this one more time on this side, allowing your knees to drift to the left. Steeple arms and head turning to the right. Your upper torso is turning right as your lower torso is turning left. Your pelvis will roll and lift as you stay in comfort, and then slow and smooth, returning to center. When you've returned to center, you'll slowly lower your arms, slowly uncross your legs, and take another brief moment of rest here in neutral. We're going to move back now into a yellow exercise. We're going to move into the letter X. So I'd like you to slowly lengthen your legs and bringing them a wide, like hip width or a little further than hip width apart. And then taking your arms out to the side, so they're straight out from your shoulders, then begin to sweep them along the floor upwards into a comfortable position. Remember that if you are not comfortable sweeping them up into that letter X, that they can stay out in a letter T if that's more comfortable for you. We're going to start with our right leg this morning. I'd like you to think of shortening the right leg this time, hiking your right hip along the floor upwards towards your right armpit, lengthening your left leg at the same time. So the right leg is shortening, the left leg is lengthening. Then slowly release the hike of the hip on the right as you slowly release the length of the left leg. Slow and smooth. And then we're going to move right through neutral as you begin to lengthen now the right leg and shorten the left, bringing your left hip along the floor up towards your left armpit, lengthening now the right leg. Then slow and smooth, release the hike of the left hip as you slowly release the length of the right leg, and moving again through neutral. We'll repeat this on the opposite side. Begin to lengthen now your left leg as you shorten the right. If you'd like to try pedaling feet, now I'm going to add this in. So pointing your left toe down to the floor as you lengthen the left leg, your right foot will flex as if it's stepping on the floor. Your right hip is hiked up to your right armpit. Slowly release now the hike of the right hip, slowly releasing in that right ankle. Slowly begin to now hike the left hip upwards towards your left armpit as your left foot, your toes come up towards your head. Your right leg is lengthening, the right toes are pointing down towards the floor. Then slowly release again, releasing the left hip, releasing in the left ankle. Slowly begin to lengthen the left leg now as you shorten on the right. Right hip comes up towards the armpit. Right toes come up towards your head. Then slowly releasing the hike of the right as you slowly switch one more time, shortening now on the left. Your left hip comes up towards the left armpit, left toes towards your face. And then slowly release, coming back to neutral. Take a moment of rest. Moving into our arms now. We're going to repeat the same movement with our arms. So I'd like you now, except we won't be pedaling our hands. We'll just leave those on the floor. So go ahead and shorten the right arm, thinking of pulling the right shoulder down, shoulder blade down towards the back of the right hip as you lengthen the left arm along the floor, lengthening it away from your body. Then slowly release the shortening on the right as you release the length on the left. You'll move right through neutral and begin to shorten on the left side now as you lengthen on the right. Then slowly releasing both sides. And again, moving through neutral. And moving to the opposite side, lengthening the left arm now away from your body as you gently shorten on the right. And again, slowly releasing. Remember to stay in comfort, however your body needs to move. To stay comfortable, you will do. Moving again through neutral, lengthening now the right side as you shorten on the left. And slowly releasing. And one last time, lengthening on the left now as you shorten on the right. And slowly releasing. Melting back to neutral. And when you return to neutral, take a moment of rest. One last position we're going to do in this letter X is I'd like you now to lengthen all of your limbs, lengthening both legs, lengthening both arms, staying in comfort as you gently lengthen your body and then slowly release. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly get ready to move into our wash rag. So I'd like you, unless you know you do not need your pillows on either side, that's fine. But if you'd like to, place one pillow on either side of your knees as you bend your knees and put your feet flat on the floor again. And your arms will be straight out from your shoulders. We're going to start with the upper body. So with those arms straight out from your shoulders, remember that they stay on the floor. And also remember that we're going to be rotating the entire arm from the shoulder. We're not just turning the hands up and down, but we're rotating the entire arm. And if it feels good to exaggerate this movement in your shoulders, then please do. So we're going to start by turning to the right. So slowly begin to turn the right arm up so your palm is facing up. As your left arm slowly turns downwards, slowly begin to turn your head to the right. Then slow and smooth, we'll begin to reverse this movement as you slowly begin to turn the right arm down, slowly turning the left arm up as your head slowly turns to the left. And slow and smooth, reversing again, slowly rotating the left arm down as the right slowly rotates up. Your head slowly turning to the right. Notice what's happening in your shoulders as you do this movement. Right now, as you've turned to the right, you should notice that the right shoulder blade feels more pressed to the floor, and your left shoulder blade probably feels lighter to the floor or lifted slightly up off of the floor. Rotating again now, the right arm down as the left turns up. Allow your knees now to begin to drift to the right. Your knees are drifting right. Your head is turning left. You're allowing your pelvis to roll. You're remembering to stay in comfort. And slowly returning opposite side as you bring your knees up and towards the left. You'll slowly rotate the left arm down as the right arm slowly rotates up. Your head is slowly turning to the right. And reversing again when you're ready, slowly with control, bringing the knees up and towards the right. As you slowly rotate the right arm down, the left rolls up, your head is turning left, allowing your pelvis to roll and turn. Allow your feet to roll or turn or move further away from your body. Whatever you need to do to stay in comfort in this movement, you will do. Continue at your own pace to twist or wring yourself out in this wash rag exercise, moving slowly with awareness, allowing your feet to turn onto their sides, moving them further or closer away from you if that's what feels comfortable. Notice how your entire body is twisting and lengthening. Make sure that this movement feels pleasurable, that you're moving slowly with awareness, staying in comfort. When you finish the one that you're on, you'll slowly return to neutral. When you've returned to neutral, take a moment of rest. And once you've had that moment of rest, we're going to move into an arch and curl to finish our daily cat stretch before we move into our breathing exercises. So when you're ready and you've had that moment of rest, go ahead and bring your hands up behind your head. I'm going to invite you, if you would like to, lift your feet or your heels when we go into the curl, to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to cue it. I'm going to cue it as just a regular arch and curl. But if you feel like your body wants to either, like I said, lift your heels or your feet and going into that curl in a ball position, you're going to go ahead and do that. When you're ready, we're going to start with the arch. So inhale and arch, your belly button rises as your tailbone gently presses down, and gently press your shoulder blades down to the floor and think of drawing them down towards your tailbone. Bring your awareness now into the arch you've created in your back. As you exhale, slowly release as you allow the shoulders and the back of your hips to melt away from each other as you slowly return to neutral. And moving right through neutral, doing another inhale if you need to. As you exhale, flatten your back down to the floor, tighten the abdominals, bring your elbows together, gently lift your head and chest, and your heels or feet if you want to. Bring your awareness now to the contraction in your belly as you slowly release and lower your head. As slow and smooth as you can. When your head is resting, slowly opening your elbows. When you've returned to neutral, rest. We'll repeat that one again. When you're ready, inhale and arch, belly button rises, tailbone gently presses down, your shoulder blades press to the floor. Think of drawing them down towards the back of your hips. Bring your awareness to the arch of your back now as you exhale and slowly release your back as you allow the shoulders and tailbone to melt away from each other. And moving through neutral, doing another inhale if you need to. As you exhale, flatten your back down to the floor. Bring your elbows together. Gently lift your head and chest. And again, bringing your awareness to your belly as you slowly release, still breathing comfortably and smoothly. Lowering your head as slow and smooth as you can. When your head is resting, slowly opening your elbows. Once you return to neutral, I'd like you to take a moment of rest. And then at your own pace, I'd like you to repeat one more arch and curl. Notice how you feel inside your body from the middle of the chest down to the pubic bone and into the area between your legs as you quietly inhale, allowing your belly to rise freely with complete relaxation so that your breathing becomes deep and full. When you return to neutral, make sure to take a moment of rest. Then you'll slowly bring your hands out from behind your head as you slowly lengthen your legs. moving back into our final Soma scan position. And we'll start here again by bringing awareness to our breath, breathing in through the nose and out through your nose or mouth, whichever feels more comfortable for you. And I'd like you to compare how this breathing feels now compared to how it felt when we started. Do you notice a difference? Does your breath feel more easeful to you now than it did when we first laid on the floor this morning? Could you feel your chest and belly rise with your inhale? Could you feel your back floating back down to the floor on your exhale? Is this more noticeable to you now? Can you tell if your chest is rising more? Do you feel like you're breathing deeper? Are you breathing slower? Were you feeling any pain or tension with your breath? What are you feeling now? Bring your awareness now to your head and your neck. Try to remember how your head felt on the floor when we started. Compare that to what you're feeling now. Moving into your chest, your shoulders, your upper back. As you take this next breath, try to remember what you were feeling and noticing here. Compare that to what you were feeling and noticing now. How did your shoulder blades feel on the floor when we started? Did they feel even? Did one feel heavier or lighter than the other? What are you noticing and feeling now? As you take your next breath, bring your awareness to your mid, belly, and back. Can you feel more movement happening here with your breath than you did when we started? Were you noticing any pain or tension here? Is it gone? Moving down into your low back, low belly, and pelvis. How did your low back feel when we started this morning? Did it feel lifted off of the floor? Does it feel more relaxed now? Were you noticing and feeling a difference from side to side of your pelvis? What are you noticing and feeling now? Moving down into your legs. How did your legs feel when we started? Did one feel more internally or externally rotated than the other, or did they feel even? What are you noticing and feeling now? Moving all the way down through your legs, ankles, and feet. Taking a moment to enjoy this nice, relaxed feeling, this feeling of calmness, and this feeling of being very internally aware. And when you're ready, and without rushing, you'll slowly roll to your side and come up to sitting.